Thank you, everyone, for joining today. This is our second afternoon session. Today, we're going to be hearing from Josh Hanewinkel, the Senior Director of Customer Success at Mixpanel, and he is going to be talking about the most important retention of all, retaining your customer success team.
All right, good stuff. Well, good afternoon. My name is Josh. I'm really excited to be here today to speak with this group about an area of customer success that I'm particularly passionate about and that my team and I have spent a large portion of the last 6 months working on, which is making sure that we retain our customer success team. So in 2015, let me do this first. So before I dive in, a little bit about me. I grew up in the Midwest. I've spent some time on the East Coast, New York, DC. I've been out in California for about 4 years. I'd love to stay active. If I wasn't here today, I'd probably be out surfing, hiking, something of that nature, biking, skiing. And as it pertains to business, I've spent the last 10 plus years now in a customer success role. Last 5 of those years in a leadership role, leading teams of anywhere from 5 to 30 individuals. So I've spent the past year and a half at a company called Mixpanel, and Mixpanel helps the world learn from its data. And we do this by providing analytics solutions to product and marketing teams. And so the way I see the world, scaling is actually really easy. You hire people, but scaling intelligently is really hard. And so I found this quote as I was doing research, and I thought it just really kind of hit the mark of some of the challenges that happen as you scale. So this is from Andrew Chen. He's a growth hacker and really well-known blogger here in the Bay Area. And his quote is, "Growth is a magnifying glass." So if you have a tiny diamond and you put that tiny diamond under a magnifying glass, you're going to make something great. But if it's just kind of a tiny piece of shit, when you put that tiny piece of shit under a magnifying glass, you have a giant piece of shit. And so when I joined Mixpanel, I inherited a team of 4 customer success managers. And our mandate for the year was to scale that team to 25. To open our New York City office, to do a number of big things. And the excitement of hiring and training over the course of the 6-9 months that we really scaled the team out kept the core team motivated and really focused. They were hiring, they were training other people that were coming into the organization. People that were coming in were being trained up. And then we just hit this wall. And the wall was everybody's trained up. The CS team and the customer success managers now have a much more traditional job role. And as a result of that, we saw engagement start to dip. We saw other indicators of people not being as invested in their role as we'd found previously. And so I built this team, and team of rock stars. I'm really happy with it. And all of a sudden, I need to go back and figure out how we keep them motivated and how we ultimately retain them. So talk a little bit about purpose. And what I've found with CSMs specifically, this role, they're just especially focused on purpose. They want to know the why behind their role. It's been years, but I do remember at some point going, "Hey, CSM, go do this." And they always come back and they always ask why. So focusing on that, we tried to build out 3 key employee programs to address some of this. One was about the CSM impacting themselves in their career through career planning and growth. The second was impacting the company itself, so impacting Mixpanel and giving them a forum and a way to do that was structured and valuable to the organization. And then lastly, impacting others. So how do we think about the ultimate customer? Who is the ultimate customer, and who is it that we want to be serving at the end of the day? So when it came to growth and development, we started by stepping back and identifying 6 key characteristics that we felt all customer success managers needed to excel at. And the way we did that is we actually went to a Radford job descriptions took those Radford job descriptions and tweaked them specific, one for customer success, which didn't really exist within the Radford job descriptions, and then also tweaked them specific for Mixpanel, as we have a more technical product than some teams out there. And so through working through that, what we came up with was a framework of 6 key characteristics that customer success managers needed to excel at. So one is revenue, the ability to deliver churn reduction and account expansion strategies. Second one is relational, so building relationships, leveraging those relationships. Technical, the ability to understand a complex product and to be able to communicate that. Being consultative, so defining and solving complex business problems. Communication, obviously, for this role, that's a big part of it. And then innovation, so contributing to product and company improvement. So once we defined these characteristics, we stepped back and we said, okay, what's next? And from here, we took these characteristics and we actually mapped them to a career track. And so the career track here represents 2 things. One, the individual contributor career track. So we wanted to give ICs a way to grow in their career without having to go down the route of management. And this was a really key part of this for 2 reasons. One, I don't have infinite leadership positions. And 2, we actually had a number of customer success managers who came into the org who said, I want to stay an individual contributor. I don't know if I necessarily in 5 years want to be in customer success. Maybe I want to be in operations, but I want to stay an individual contributor for life. And those people were, we signed them as quickly as we could. So the way we took those characteristics and mapped them, basically a senior CSM would have, along those 6 characteristics, they'd be expected to perform at a higher level than a CSM or a CS representative. And then the other thing you can catch here too is years of CS-related experience are along the bottom. So say your typical senior CSM has 7 years, very little management experience. On the flip side, our manager level leadership role, somewhere in 5 to 10 years of experience on, 5 years of experience on the management side, maybe 5 to 10 years of experience in customer success or a related role. So we shared that with the team. And from there, we actually rolled out individual career development plans. And the idea with these was the team had really been pushing on me and on the organization to give them a route, not just what did it look like, but how can I actionably move through my career. And so the idea with this document is manager actually walks away and completes it for the rep. The individual contributor walks away and completes it. We come back together and we have a really, really good discussion on where they map today within the 6 areas that we discussed, what they feel like their strengths and weaknesses are, and where they want to be in 9 to 24 months, 13 to 36 months, 12 to 36 months, et cetera. So from here, the actual output of this document, which I didn't include a slide of, is a tangible document that the IC owns, which is basically next steps. And so this document is reviewed quarterly with the individual contributor. The next steps document that falls out of that, the IC owns, and it's their job to go through and say, here are the 3 to 5 things in partnership with management that I'm going to focus on over the next quarter. And those could be things like, I'm actually going to do a formal training on negotiation. They could also be, I just need my manager to come out and to spend more time with me on the road so that I can actually get real-time feedback. Or maybe the manager is out, but they're not getting as much real-time feedback. So we can document all of these in partnership, and it's been really effective so far in focusing the team. So that was all about impacting the CSM and them impacting their own career. Next, we thought about how can we impact our company? How can we impact Mixpanel? And how can we have the individual contributors help to do that? So what we came up with is an idea that actually Mixpanel's done since it was founded under different titles. What we call it is special projects. And special projects are essentially a quarterly project that is tied to some portion of their variable compensation where they actually own a core internal part of what we're building or what we're revising. Some examples of that could be John here, he's doing renewal management and he's actually defining renewal management at Mixpanel. It's relatively new for us. We were historically a month-to-month business. So what does that look like? What are the strategies and policies that need to be in place? Who are the cross-functional people that I need to work with, that he needs to work with in order to pull this off? Jane, for instance, is doing an onboarding survey revamp. So the survey that we complete, she's actually going out to cross-functional stakeholders and leaders within the organization, find out what we need to tweak and change there. So what's really cool about this is not only is it the opportunity to focus their energy and give them something that's bigger by contributing to the greater good, but they also get really tangible experience of working in a complex organization and the politics, which I'll use lightly in our case, but like the politics and all the things that go into managing a project like this cross-functionally. Let's see. And then lastly, we focused on impacting others. And this is probably the most nebulous, I would say, of the 3 employee programs, but it's something that we really took to heart and that my team is communicating out to their individual contributors consistently, which is when we're doing discovery, it's great to get down to what are the business goals, what are the business objectives that we need to accomplish or that the customer needs to accomplish with our software in order to be successful. We want to make sure we take that one step further. And taking it one step further is, well, what does Dave here need to actually get done in the next 6 months to get a promotion, to I don't know, take a different job somewhere else? How do we build these champions at our customer organizations? And so this one's so far has only been a conversation. We haven't found a way to really measure it, and we hope to do that. But the idea being we're at least focusing the team on getting to the individual level and understanding the stakeholders at the business. And so results. The biggest one first, CSM focus has increased. So they're back in their job role. Instead of me fielding questions on a one-off basis consistently about what does my career look like, when am I getting that promotion, they're working on that with their management team, and they know they have a forum and a place to go for that. So it's not necessarily one-off, and I feel like in a lot of cases we have really quelled a lot of those questions as a part of the first program that I took you through. Second thing is that the CSM's organization, our contribution to the larger whole has increased significantly. So we have a team of 20 CSMs today. Each of them is working in close partnership with management on a quarterly basis on some really key projects. Think about that over the course of a year. And maybe we don't get 80 of them done, but maybe we get 50 or 60 done. And so that's been really big for us, and we're definitely seeing the impact of that. The other thing I'll add on that one real quick is I think that it remains to be seen, but I think in 12 months, we may come back and say, wow, that was actually the most impactful program for career development because of this cross-functional working that the CSMs have to do in order to get these projects done. And then lastly, probably obvious, but management and customer success manager alignment was a real key outcome of this, and everybody feels like they're on the same page around what careers look like, when these projects are due, and what the deliverables are. So we've cleaned up a lot of what was a little wishy-washy previously. And so I'll leave you with a couple thoughts on retaining top CSMs. One is just to spend as much time developing programs for your people as you do developing programs for your customers. Secondly, get ahead of career management. In most cases, HR can't or won't do it for you, and we worked in partnership with them to put this together, but they're working on a whole other cycle to get reviews done and some things of that nature, and so we got enough buy-in to push this forward, but they're not necessarily looking at this from a career development angle as much as from a, I need to get these certain things done at a certain time of the year in order to check a box. And then the other really important thing about everything I've shared here, we didn't spend a dime on it outside of time. So zero cost. It does take time. And the last thing I'll leave you with is just commit to making the time. This has been hugely, hugely impactful to our business, our people, and ultimately that's going to impact our customers.